both talk a little bit more?
Sure.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You're gonna have to tell me to stop talking. You're gonna be more impressed with how my hair bounces back from these headphones
I'm already
than my
blown away.
interview.
So you guys will talk for about 30 minutes, and then we'll call the two callers in.
Okay.
I
You
wanted
need to
talk
advise
them.
people.
Yes.
Okay. I have a feeling your advice could be different than mine, which will make it interesting. Really.
I always say to my kids, I always say, you know, people pay to hear what I have to say. You guys run for me. You hear my voice. They run for the hills.
It sounds like your kids are normal.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, good.
So this is only my third podcast that I haven't done many podcasts. I did one years ago with Pat Monahan. He's a friend of mine from Train.
Yeah.
And it was at Kim Zolciak. I was promoting my show and I did one. So, but I never did one like this. So it's a little intimidating with the headphones.
Come on.
Yeah.
Are you sure you're comfortable on that head? Because it
Oh,
looks
I'm
like the
fine.
headphones are slipping off your wig.
No. Well, that's because I don't have a wig,
Oh,
so they're not
excuse
slipping,
me.
Barbara.
Looks just like a wig.
No.
Okay, so where am I going to start? Okay, so what's it like to talk to dead people? Well, today we have with us Theresa Caputo, who you probably all know much more. Today we have with us Theresa Caputo, and you probably know her as the Long Island medium. She's going to share with us how she handles this gift she has, or I might even call it a superpower. She talks to dead people. Let's hear what it's all about. You like that, Cindy?
That was great.
Okay. Theresa. I'm almost frightened to sit here with you. I'm afraid you're going to call my mom and dad in. You're going to yell at me from the past or something.
Absolutely, nothing like that.
Okay,
Nothing
so that's
like
off
that.
limits, just for the information
Off
here. It's
limits.
off limits, okay. But tell me what a medium really is, because a lot of people have their own idea about what a medium is or isn't. What do you do, and can you really talk to dead people?
Well, I have the ability to sense and feel our departed loved ones. You know, people always say, you're psychic. I don't predict the future. I don't want people's loved ones telling them what they should or shouldn't do with their life decisions and choices. From a very young age of 4, I've had the ability to sense and feel things that nobody else was in the room, and I was. I would see, so I can remember a clear vision at 4 years old, always seeing a woman standing at the end of my bed.
Wow,
at night.
freaky.
But to me, that was normal.
But as a 4-year-old, you're laying in your bed at night and you see somebody at the foot of your bed, I would think any child would be frightened to death. That didn't frighten you?
Well, remembering it at that time, no, at that exact moment. But my mom would say that I would wake up with blood-curdling screaming, and like somebody was literally attacking me. And there would be no one in my room. I didn't sleepwalk. I would just get up and would just have extreme anxiety and felt like I needed to get out of that room, out of that bed, and I just didn't want to be in there.
And you actually remember that as a child?
I remember that as a child.
Extreme fear.
Yes.
Were they bad people in your room, whoever was hanging out of your bed?
No. What I found out later in life, it was my great-grandmother who had passed before I was even born.
Oh my gosh.
That was the first soul that I can remember seeing.
And when you,
and I would never communicate with her. I would always just see her and feel her.
When you were feeling her and waking up with a scream and being so frightened as a 4-year-old, were you actually thinking there was someone there to harm you, or was it a good energy, or was it simply you were afraid because you didn't understand what was going on?
I didn't understand what was going on.
And who did you tell?
I would just say this, someone in my parents.
Did she think you're crazy, your mom?
No, because I come from a very spiritual and a strong faith family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my brother still tells the story of one night that I convinced my parents that there was a man looking in my window with big green eyes. That at like 3 o'clock in the morning, he had my dad out there on the ladder on the roof and my brother, and it turned out to be my neighbor's cat.
No way.
I swear.
Hardly a psychic phenomenon.
That's like, what I was sensing and feeling was real, and I can feel that watching over. But no one ever really made a big deal about things that I would say. I might bring up people that have died in the past, or I would just see things. And nobody ever really made a big deal about it. They just embraced it.
So you had the perfect family to welcome your difference,
I did.
which you can't say about a lot of families.
No.
You might have just as easily been labeled a freak some kind.
Oh,
Yeah.
I say that all the time. I might have been diagnosed maybe with schizophrenia or some other type of disorder if I was with a different family. I say this all the time also. I know my path has been chosen and this is my soul's destiny because I feel that I've lived a very privileged life. And when I say privileged, I don't mean by financial means, privileged to have a loving and supportive family.
Of course.
I only lost my grandparents within the past 10 years, so I was well into my 40s, still having my grandparents here. I still live right next door to my parents, and I'm 52, even though Wikipedia says I'm 53. Don't believe everything you read.
What difference does a year make?
Exactly. A lot!
But how about, tell me about the dead people. Tell
Yeah.
me specifically about the dead people. Are they happy to be dead? I've always wondered.
Well, I think this is, again, one of the misconceptions that people have of what I do. That they show me the other side, that I have this untold vision or story about heaven or what the souls of the
special
departed
access,
do.
maybe.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But what it is, and this is why I'm explaining this to you, Barbara, is because it all came through the process of me accepting who God intended me to be here in the physical world, my soul's journey.
Mhm.
Because growing up, I never felt complete. I always felt that there was something missing.
Mm.
And I share this part of my story because I found out a lot of people might feel that way. Maybe it's with a relationship, a job, though they just feel something's missing deep within their soul. And it wasn't until I embraced my gift is when I felt complete.
Mhm.
That's how I know that it's my destiny. So I struggled with, why was I chosen?
Mm.
What am I supposed to do with this? Who's going to want to come and see a medium and speak to their relatives that have died?
And this happened when, Theresa? When
This-
you were a kid, you accepted
was-
this, or you were already grown up?
I was grown. It was later in my 20s.
Raising a family.
Raising a family. I just had my daughter, Victoria.
And you had continued to have different spirits welcome themselves into your life, and then you finally said one day, hey, this is a gift, I should do something more with it and bring it to other people.
Yes, because I didn't realize how life-changing it was.
And how were you using it up until then?
I wasn't using my gift. I was
Well,
blocking
certainly
it.
the spirits were still visiting, or you were locking them
I
out
was blocking
mentally?
them out, and I was ignoring what I was sensing and feeling.
So if a spirit wanted to visit you, for example, even back in that chapter of your life, they don't bang down the door. They don't say, let me in or I'm going to kill you.
No.
Or something like that. They just will graciously leave if they're not welcomed.
I used to, like I would just not answer them or acknowledge their presence. So what happens is I start to feel certain things. And then when the spirit pushes me enough to get me to say something is when I know when to proceed with what I'm sensing and feeling.
So now,
But I
I'm
just
sorry to interrupt you. Go
I
ahead,
just
please.
want you to understand why I also chose to do what I do. Is because I found out from sensing, I had gone to a spiritual awareness class to learn how to relax. I had a lot of extreme anxiety. I couldn't leave my house because I'm empathic, so I feel how other people feel. I feel the soul, how they died, what they want to communicate to their loved one.
Just walking around the street. So you go to your local delicatessen, and if that gentleman lost his father 5 years ago, suddenly that dad's behind the counter too, and you're feeling their messaging coming out.
When I walked in this room, I felt that there was a father figure in this room.
It better not be my
I don't know
dad.
whose dad it is because
I never honored Father's Day, the last Father's Day, and then my dad kicked the bucket. Please don't tell me he's back to tell me.
I don't know, but I could just tell you what I sense and feel. And then I had a laboring of the breathing in my chest, which means that they pass from something of the chest. Whether if it was a heart attack, could be lung cancer. Usually sometimes if someone drowned, I will feel like I fill up with fluid. If someone was brutally, maybe someone was murdered or tragic departure, I'll feel like I taste blood.
Oh my God.
It's just for like a split second. But I've learned through over the years how to channel and to communicate then to the person that it is their loved one, and more importantly, that the soul is at peace. So why I chose what I do is because I learned that people are left with burdens and guilts. They're left with a should've, could've, would've, and an only if. None of these things that I've ever been left with. That's why I shared with you before. I'm very privileged of not having to go through a tragedy, losing someone at a very young age. So when I channel and when I read someone, I can't have an opinion. I can't have a personal thought, feeling, or emotion. And it was validated on, I don't know if you noticed, I was on Dr. Oz, where,
of course, yes.
and Dr. Amen, where they read my brain as I was reading someone. And they say my brain literally like flatlines.
How do you do that to yourself, though? In other words, you sense that this
I
spirit...
don't know. It just happens. It's me. It's who I am. I don't know how I do it, how I don't do it. I just know when to say something, when not to say something. It's...
And I'm curious about something. Not every spirit well, let me not tell you. You know it. I don't talk to spirits, unfortunately, and I'm jealous, honestly. But not every spirit has to have a positive message, or are those the only spirits you hear from? What about the bad guy that wants to say something negative? Do you hold that to yourself and opt not to share that?
Well, spirit's not allowed to. When I put my gift in the universe's hands and I said, if this is my soul's journey, place me the path and the opportunities, and I will follow. I only want good things. If it can help someone or prevent something, then I don't want to know about it.
But can negative news help someone to get a negative message, something explained that's negative?
So I'll use this as an example, if this will answer your question. I remember doing a live show, and this young woman was murdered by her boyfriend. And I'm channeling her to her mother. You know, she's saying she's at peace. She described what she looked like, how beautiful she was, because the mother had visions of the way that her physical body was left, and that's how she was visualizing her daughter. How would I know that? I wouldn't know that. So the daughter's having me deliver this message, and I said to her, your daughter wants me to deliver a message from someone else, but I can't see him. I can't get any messages directly from him, which is my symbol for that his soul isn't at a plane with God, in God's white light. But he wants to apologize and wants you to know that he does know and is remorseful and knows what he took from you, your most precious gift, your daughter.
And that boyfriend had already passed away?
He committed suicide after he killed her.
Oh my God.
But I couldn't directly sense his energy because he wasn't in positive light yet.
But one ghost is good enough. You got the message.
And the mother said, I came here wanting to know if he was remorseful and if he knew what he took from me.
So you were able to help that poor mother move on.
Right, her daughter's soul. I was just the vessel that the daughter used. So people can interpret, you know, when they say, do you deliver negative messages? I'm channeling someone's loved one. Maybe they died tragically. Maybe they were murdered. Maybe they lost their child to cancer, or they feel that they weren't properly taken care of by doctors or in a hospital. That is negative. So I have a hard time when people say things about negative messages. It's hard.
You mean real people saying something negative about the message, and you're able to give them peace by reinterpreting what really happened or how they should or shouldn't feel. But it's always in the positive light. What if you get something negative? Let's say you get a spirit who's pissed off and wants to be heard. Do you just turn that away? Do you keep it to yourself? Do you feel obligated to share with someone?
I've never had that. I've never heard from a soul. They will make me feel how they felt before they died. They might anger, frustration because of an illness, but that is never their message or their intent as they channel.
So their intent also, paralleling your own, is to bring peace.
Yes.
Do you believe that all ghosts or spirits or however you might want to describe them have positive energy when they go yonder and they come back as peaceful people? Because there's a lot of bad people in life.
Oh, 1,000%. Well, how the soul chooses to re-enter, that's a different story.
Well, what do you mean by that?
So
there's more. Not only that, there's more.
I've done past life regressions. I don't know if some people refer to it as reincarnation, however you want to interpret it, where our souls have had many different journeys here in the physical world.
So you will interpret what that last journey might have looked like?
So, right, so if someone, time and time again, it happens where maybe a husband will come through and they're speaking to their wife and saying, I see now from the other side how terrible I was to you, how I never told you how much I loved you or how much I appreciate everything that you did for me, how you cared for me, and for that I am sorry. And then the woman in front of me is breaking down and saying, that's exactly how I feel. He would say mean things to me before he died. He would throw his food at me, would yell at me, but it was the illness, it was the frustration. So now she would be beating herself up here in the physical world. I could have done better, what could I have done differently? And not being able to heal. At the end of the day, every message that Spirit has me deliver, it has to deliver peace. Give something that that person is holding on to that is holding them back from healing.
Theresa, do you think those messages of peace are because they're coming through you as a medium and that's who you are? Or do you think all the spirits out there that have passed on have peace? Is that part and parcel of being a spirit?
From what Spirit has told me, is that when the soul leaves the physical body, they immediately leave behind disabilities, ailment, hatred behind. When a soul comes through and apologizes, that means that the soul had to relive their life through our eyes, to feel what it was like for their choices and decisions on how it affected us, how it hurt us. So that is how they're able to come through and apologize.
Now I want to ask you, how do you ignore a voice? Let's say you're going shopping, you have your normal chores to do, you have your laundry list, you want to get it done, and everywhere you go, you're feeling a spirit. There's got to be tons of them floating around. What do you do to ignore them? Do you lock them out?
Well, you also have to understand not everyone might need to hear from their loved one.
No, but let's say you're by yourself and you're not counseling anyone. You're
Right.
not doing a reading of any kind. You're just walking down the street
Right.
and you see a spirit sitting on a stoop saying, they
Well, I
want to
don't
be
see
heard.
them like that.
Oh, you don't see them.
I don't-
So tell me what you see. You're walking down
I-
the street going to the beauty salon.
I
to
won't
get your
see
next
them
wig,
like-
and then what happens?
I don't wear a wig.
Oh, I thought you said it was a wig. Sorry.
No.
about that. Okay, go ahead.
You want, next time I come, Barbara, I'll wear a wig.
How do you get your hair so high? It must be going up to the heavens there.
Hairspray.
Oh gosh,
And
don't give away your secrets. Come on.
I don't have any secrets.
I noticed.
No, I don't see the way we see here in the physical world. It's more through a feeling. I just sense and
Somebody's with
feel
us.
things. Right. So I can feel a presence, but they might not make me feel anything else to say. So I just don't, I just want to walk around and go, hey, your uncle is here, your cousin is here. You know, it doesn't work like that. They then have to give me other points, validations that person needs to hear a message. Not about believing in what I do, but needs the gift of healing. For example, years ago, I can remember I was in Bloomingdale's. I think I was picking up perfume. And I was at the counter, and all of a sudden I smelt a big woof of gardenias. Now that's not unusual.
You were at the perfume counter.
I'm at a perfume counter.
Of course.
Not
Makes sense.
unusual.
So far it sounds normal.
Right. So I'm standing there, and all of a sudden this woman is standing next to me. I look over, and the smell gets stronger. And then I hear, please tell my daughter how much you love her perfume.
Wow, that's spooky.
So now, I don't say anything. I wait, and the woman turns to me and she says, it's so hard to pick out a new scent when you've been wearing one for so long, right? And I'm like, yeah. I said, oh, by the way, I said, I love your perfume. I love it. It smells like gardenias. And she looked at me and she started crying. And she said, I'm wearing my mom's perfume. Today's her birthday. And when she was alive, I would yell at her, stop wearing that stinky perfume. So I wore her perfume today in honor of my mom. Woman didn't know that I was channeled, that I heard tell my daughter how much you love her perfume or how pretty it is, right? You have to have that conversation. So I was able to deliver a message in a way that it just wasn't like, hey, your mom passed, she's here,
Yes,
and she wants you to know something.
I would have been tempted, so tempted if I were in your shoes that moment to say, and by the way, your mother just relayed that message through me. It would almost triple the power. It would be a confirmation that she chose that
Right.
perfume today. But you weren't tempted to do that, right?
She didn't need that validation. She knew. I think we exchanged words. I mean, I'm going back probably about 12 years ago.
But it was a confirmation.
It was a
that she made the
confirmation
right
that her
choice.
mother was with her, and that not to feel that sorry or feel bad about yelling at her, stop wearing her stinky perfume. You know, these are the things that what I realize that people go over after time and time again, of the little things that they hold on to and that they remember after the loss of a loved one.
Do you remember you were in my office for your show, and you were feeling the spirit of both my mother and father here? I remember much of the detail of that afternoon that we spent, but was so shocking to me, I remember, is that you ended by saying that there had been a tree planted, and my mother was so happy about the tree. You floored me, knowing that after my mother passed from Alzheimer's, she was sick so long, that there was and you said a red tree, which was a Japanese maple, which is red. You didn't name Japanese maple, but you went far enough, that you were able to tell me that detail. It was spellbounding. How are you able to get not just the spirit that's relaying messages to their loved ones, but how are you able to collect that kind of detail that, in my mind, brought so much credibility to everything else you were saying?
Because that's one of my requirements for spirit. I've learned that there are a lot of common things. I'm the first one to say that what I do is crazy. Anyone can say what spirit has me say. And there are common burdens and guilts that we carry, common ways people die. But with every healing message that they have me deliver, they have to validate it with something unique to the person that they're speaking to.
So that the person you're speaking to or relaying the message to believes you.
Right.
So important.
See, now,
to that point, I was like, I had one eye in or one eye out.
Sure.
I'm a cynic.
Of course.
But after that, you had me all in.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I've learned
so
that...
you asked for that, if I could interrupt you a moment, you asked for that from the spirit, like, prove to me you're the right spirit. You're really her deceased husband by giving me a detail, and then suddenly that spirit is saying, remind her that a tree was planted.
Well, for instance, spirit knows when I give a speech or when I do my little mental preparation, they know when I'm ready to communicate. My rules are I need to feel the bond and relationship that they shared with the person. I need to know how they died.
And you ask the person who has not... You ask the person who's still alive?
I'm not speaking this. This is all in my head. This is all in my preparation of when I read somebody.
I see.
Nobody, well, you know you had the experience. You didn't ask me anything.
No, I didn't.
Right?
But you sure told me a lot.
Your loved ones told you.
Yes, well said, but it seemed to have such credibility because of the amount of detail you gave.
Correct. But that's what they have to do. So with every healing message, they have to validate it with something so unique that there's no way I would know about, could find out about it. Sometimes, because this is what's happening. I'm on the cusp now of trying to do an interview with you, right? And trying to block out things that I sense and feel. Because this is also what happens. I walk into a room and immediately spirit either starts coming or people know who I am and they start asking their loved ones, oh, this is an opportunity. Please step forward. So when you were sharing the story to me before about, seeing the tree planted, I kept seeing a quarter. That's my symbol for where someone carries something of their departed loved ones with them. Maybe it's a quarter, maybe it's a key. It's something that their loved one carried or they carry in memory of them. A lot of times it is changed. Or someone did have a coin collection, or they find quarters in memory of their departed loved one. But there is that male figure, that father figure, so whether if it's a grandfather, someone's father, could be an uncle that was like a father to them. The laboring of the chest is my symbol for that they pass from something of the heart, lungs, or chest, and then there is also something about change. I don't know. So as I'm talking to you, that's what I see. I see flashes of things, and I just sense and then feel other things. There was also somebody that passed from something of a stomach issue or something.
That might be me.
Or something with the stomach.
I hope I'm not going to kick the bucket just with my stomach.
No. My aunt just asked me that on the way over here. And they're not coming for me, are they, Theresa? I'm like, no, Auntie, they're not. She's like, well, I am 90.
You'd be a spooky person to invite over for a casual dinner, frankly. Did you get many invites?
No. That's why I have no friends. They're all dead, Barbara.
1 second. I'm sorry.
Is it my hair?
No, your hair's perfect.
Oh, I'm sweating. Whew.
You can't expect a wig to
not
be problematic.
Do you want to run your fingers through my hair, Barbara, to prove that it is not a wig?
I want that on camera,
Good sense of
actually.
humor.
I do.
Yeah.
I love
All
the
right.
fact that people think that I wear a wig.
Sorry. Back.
We're okay?
Yeah.
Teresa, how do you get alone time? How do you find peace? How do you click off and just
Honestly,
have a normalcy of any kind in your life?
I'm just starting to learn that.
How do you do that?
I started by starting to really take care of myself. It's a hard thing because I think we look at things as a selfishness, or being selfish or self-absorbed, right? And I've learned that I deserve quiet time. I deserve peace. And I think Spirit also realizes that also. Because along with everything, because I'm always channeling, whether I'm filming for Long Island Medium or doing a live show, I'm always channeling. I'm
Must be
always
exhausting.
And it's interesting on how over the years Spirit has learned how to kind of step aside a little bit.
Because
They're
you
not-
needed it yourself.
I need
So
it.
you dictated that with your own thought.
I think they saw it and realized that it was becoming very taxing on. I make what I do look very easy.
Yes,
It's
you
the
do.
hardest thing that I have to do is to feel someone's emotions, a pain, a sorrow, a loss, and a grief, and then in the next moment have me do something to give them the gift of laughter. That is another thing that I require them to do, because that is the best medicine for the soul.
You mean you require that the Spirit give you something
Yes.
funny to get their loved ones laughing about?
Or just to smile.
Yeah, of course.
It's the greatest gift.
But then how do you really chill out? In other words, what would be, give me a picture of how you chill out. You have a whole afternoon where you don't have any spirits visiting.
Sometimes I'll just sit and I'll just like binge watch like Friends.
And not on the couch next to you.
No, that.
Excuse me a minute. Let me just
Yeah.
a second. That's why we can edit. Thank God.
See that? I just find just sitting, I'll just literally go in my bed and just lay down and just close my eyes for fun. Not take a nap, but just kind of, think about things that I want to accomplish, or just kind of let go of anything, any type of stresses, even if it's just like for 2 or 3 minutes.
And you just taught yourself that
I've
recently
taught
in your
myself
life.
recently.
And what caused that to happen? Why that life change? It's a big one.
Because it's important. I realized that it's important. After losing my grandparents, my grandmother was just gone 10 years, my grandfather 5. My life was so busy and hectic and crazy. And realizing with me being away, how important, family is, and how important I can't be good to anyone else. I think it hit me one time when I was flying, and I fly or travel all the time. And the flight attendant, I have said, and you hear it over and over, put your mask on so you can help someone else. And I said to myself, that should be a rule of thumb in everyday life. I am no good to no one else if I am at my weakest moment, or if I'm not 100%. And I think after, doing that, I'm recently divorced, going through that and grieving, my 33 years with Larry. I just felt that things needed to change for me.
So you think
And I think
experience that
self-care-
divorce turned a page in your life where you said, I've got to take care of myself. This is too stressful.
I think it was everything. It was just everything that I just felt that there were so many changes, and why not continue positive changes? And I think that we only take care of ourselves when we're sick, or when we're not good. Think about it. When do you go to the doctor? When you're not feeling good, right? Not me. I'm always at.
You're one of those, right?
No, I just keep up on all my physical appointments and checkups. But when do we take care of ourselves? When we're at our work, when we're ill. So I think it's important to kind of nip that in the bud beforehand. Same thing with the healing process. And I think back to myself on sometimes when I look at how someone's life changed because of the loss of a loved one, and the choices that they made because of a burden or guilt that they carried, how different their life could have been shaped. And I think I see that a lot when I go to the prison and do readings for some inmates on how their choices, and it stems back to the loss of a loved one.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how you do it. My hat's off to you, my dear.
And to be able to give them that peace and, a little bit of hope.
You'll to have the strength to even do it in the first place, to welcome that into your life. Amazing.
I think we're all meant to be here in the physical world to do special and amazing things. And no matter what it is.
I want to get back to being married to Larry for 33 years. you come through a long divorce, it felt like to me, I don't know whether it was to you. What do you learn from divorce and the breaking of a long, loving relationship? What did you get out of that? Anything good?
You know, I learned that I don't have not one regret, and the respect that Larry and I have for each other and where we are today, we're so much better. You know, to be able to realize that, you know, you've grown in different directions, or you want different things in life, or simply just not happy anymore. Doesn't mean that we still don't. I still love Larry. He's the father of my children.
Did you have spirits like your grandparents, your mother giving you advice from yonder onto what to do there?
No.
How to, nothing like that. Can you call help when you want it for yourself?
I always ask for the higher power. I personally call on God. I believe in God.
That's a special spirit.
Yes.
You know you're pulling rank, don't you?
I do. You know, it's so interesting though on how. That's another whole topic.
But not your grandparents. They don't come in. You don't call them up and say, "Come to me. Give me some advice here."
What I do in prayer, meditation, I always look for guidance. I put out there, and I always ask the universe to guide me. I will get messages, just like everyone else, signs and symbols. Is this the right choice? Am I making the right decisions? These are my free will choices. But I would always get that validation, whether it be if I would find a white feather. Some people find white feathers, some people find hear that song on the radio. You know, get that validation that I know that spirit is guiding me and that I am making the right choices and decisions. I also do feel when I am guided in a way that I shouldn't be going, things do happen or put me at a halt.
You mean from the other world?
From
or
the
your
other
own
side.
Better judgment or second guessing?
No, I think
situation?
I think the spirit plays a part in that as well.
What do you say to people who say that the work you do is not credible, that you're a kook, that there can't be any credence in anything you're doing? What do you say to those hardcore cynics?
You know, my first thing is always, I get it. I'm the first one to say that what I do is crazy. But speak to someone that has had the experience.
So you call in a witness, an expert witness.
Ask that, I mean, because they're the. It's not. Listen. I don't say that people have a right to their own opinion, and I do get what I do is crazy, but it can't change the fact that the things that Spirit had me say to someone, and if it changed their life in a positive way, why would someone want to take that from them?
Because people use their left brain to figure a lot out. So I could picture someone analyzing it very readily, because I have that in me too. I go both ways.
Sure.
Saying, this doesn't make any sense. It's illogical. Can't possibly be. There's no spirit. They're talking to me. This lady's a kook. Okay, so take that person. Is there a way you can then call their father or grandparent into the scene and say, oh yeah, you think I'm a kook? Well, your grandfather's here, and he said you should have never stolen that car from the showroom. You could like put them in bed, like just that. So close them down. Close them down.
If they were open to it, I will never push my gift. I will never use my gift to prove or try to defend my gift in any way, shape, or form.
Well, you're a much bigger woman than I. You know what I would do? I would immediately look for a spirit to call them out and put them in their place. I would be so annoyed. Yeah.
Well. But it truly is an honesty, Barbara, when I say I get it, I understand that. I understand why someone would critique that or criticize or be a skeptic. I get it. But I then, in the past, I have then asked them, well, have there been times where, and then sometimes I might see something, like, oh, do you ever see the same time on the clock all the time? Or are you waking up every night at 3 a.m. for no reason? And, you know, these are also sometimes signs and symbols that we don't put together that it's our loved one.
May I ask you, I wake up faithfully every night at 3 a.m. What does that
So
mean?
do you think that was a coincidence that I said that?
Really? You said that for me?
Well, listen.
Wait, what else did you have on the list? I want to make sure.
Well, what did I say? I'm just trying. Well, it could be. I saw 3 a.m. and when I say waking up same time or seeing the time the same time, so it could be the same thing because sometimes people don't wake up at
what
the
does that
exact.
mean? I'd like to get rid of it, frankly. Give me my solution right
Sometimes people always say I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's me all through the night. But why 3 a.m.?
Well, so what happens is why we wake up, and this is from what Spirit has told me, is during,
Wait, my spirit who's here or a spirit? I want to know where
spirits
this
have
is
told me,
coming.
I
Okay.
did feel like there was, I did see a mother energy.
Okay.
When we wake up at a specific time, we have teaching hours. It's when our minds are at rest. That is the best way that we're able to connect with spirit on our own, is when our mind is at rest. So it's the same thing like if you get in the car and you're going about your day, you turn the radio on, you change the channel, and a song comes on. Old song that was your loved one's favorite. And you're not playing it on purpose, not a coincidence that it's on. It's almost like spirit's energy getting you to do things, getting you to recognize things.
Okay,
So
but
sometimes
going
it's a
back to your
time.
3 a.m.
Yeah.
I'd like to skin that cat
So
right
sometimes you might not be able to. You could just tell them. You can say, "I do not. Please don't come to me."
now. Oh, nobody's coming to me at 3 a.m. A to-do list is in my head. I'm checking through the to-do list, a busy little beaver in the middle of the night.
Well,
is that my
But if
mother
it's at
who's
the
causing the
same,
problem?
it's at the same time again because spirit
Same
tries
time
to get
every
our
night.
attention, and those are spirit refers to in the middle of the night as our teaching hours.
So who's trying to teach me at 3 a.m.? I'm
I-
annoyed.
It could, they might not be teaching you something. It could just be a validation that their soul is present as
Okay.
well.
So I'll say hi to my mom tonight and see
You
what
could say,
happens.
"Hi, Mom." You
Would
know,
you let me go back to sleep?
I don't. If you're present, please do not. But I am also going to say this: you are. I'm also very silly in even saying this, but you're always working.
I am.
Your mind is never at rest. They just told me your mind is never at rest. You're a workhorse.
Yeah.
You never stop working. So we can't guarantee that she's not going to get up at 3 a.m.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell her to get out of my room. Do your kids have the same gift you have? Any of your children?
Yes, I
How do they
believe
deal with that?
it's different. Though my son is a very good intuition. My daughter is a little bit more like me, where she senses and feels the soul's energy and things like
And your
that.
daughter is how old?
She's 25 now.
Do you think she'll follow in your footsteps and share that gift?
No.
She's had it with
She
her
will
psychic
share
mom?
information, like if she feels things around someone, but she's not. She does not take it to the level.
That you
That's not her calling.
May I ask you one question, because you're in an unusual position, always speaking with spirits. Are you afraid of death?
Not anymore.
And what happened that you're not anymore? Because of the readings? or
Because of
something
what I
else
do,
happened?
I know there's something more. There's, like my first book, there's more to life than this. I know that we're greeted by our departed loved ones on the other side, from what departed souls have described the moment that their soul leaves the physical body of what happened. And people will say, "That's exactly what happened. How would you know that?" My mom was reaching and calling out for her brother. You know, so there.
So that gives you credibility, tremendous credibility, if you're able to tell someone that when your mother was on her deathbed, she was reaching out for your brother, and that individual has to give you credibility for that. Okay, I believe it.
Listen,
You sold me.
I don't, my whole thing also is, I don't, and I'm not trying to be rude.
You're
People
never
could
rude. You
say-
don't have that in you. You're a sweetheart. I could see that.
People could say whatever they want about me. I don't care. And if I did care, I wouldn't be where I am today. You know,
You're a tough cookie. I'm sure people could say what they want. You strike me like a tremendous.
it's hurtful. It's hurtful.
Really? You're
when people,
hurt by that?
Well, it just
It's not that
bothers
hard to
me.
believe.
Well, it bothers me that people have that in them, that they feel the need to be mean, especially on social media. When I post a picture with me and my daughter, do you have to comment that my daughter is fat? That my daughter gained weight, or that you think that I shouldn't wear my hair this way, or there's no need for that. It's just,
Once they
it's
pass on,
hurtful.
they're all going to be nice people anyway,
Yeah.
from what you said today.
Well, I hope they learn from that.
Mhm.
Yeah, they'll have to relive. If they left someone with a burden or a guilt, they have to relive that so they can feel what it was like for their actions on how it made other people feel.